we have time to practice. We usually don't have this quick turnaround time, so hopefully the next time we will. Okay. All right. I like this better. Okay. So welcome everybody. Should I talk a little? So welcome, and I want to start by I'm sorry, this microphone is really kind of long. It's okay? Yeah. All right. So, I want to start by introducing our board. Our president, Jim Hammond, couldn't be here tonight, but I'm Helen Wilson, vice president. And this kind of got glossed over last time, but we have a second vice president now, Alex Musicant, who is also one of our media specialists. And he is responsible for the new look in our membership announcements, our program announcements that you've been getting, and also instrumental in our move to JCC. So welcome, Alex. Other board members, our other media specialist is Audrey Glickman, who is back doing our video. And she is also our recording secretary, another officer. Let's see, Rod Parmigiani is our treasurer. Let's see, looking, I know he's Todd Miller is our program scheduler. We have him to thank for the wonderful programs that we've been putting on. And Toby Chapman, our other program coordinator, couldn't be here tonight. We have Tony Indovina, who is our email coordinator and our president of Friends of Neil Loghouse. Let's see. Evelyn Young and Todd Wilson are also on our board. Charles Sucka. I don't think any of them were able to come tonight. And let's see whom I'm forgetting. Anybody? Yes? No? Okay. So I only have 3 quick announcements. And the first one is that our membership drive, renewal drive, ends in this month. So if you haven't renewed, please do, and that will save us from sending you a renewal envelope. So we would appreciate if you would like to renew. We have, not only do we have the forms over there, but we have return addresses in return envelopes, and that'll save you from having to make out an envelope. Or you can renew online on our website. So, and if you have renewed, we really appreciate your renewal and our donations. Okay, I keep getting closer. This is really weird because I hear the feedback and it's like somebody's talking to me. So anyway, second announcement is we are now selling our calendars for the rock bottom price of $10. They're over there, or you can order online for, if you want them sent to you, $3 for postage. But we weren't sure how many to order, so we did over-order, and I would like to see them in your house instead of my living room in a box. So they're over there. And the third announcement is just that our next program is Dr. Goodman, Dr. Jeremy Goodman, who is president and CEO of the Zoo and Aquarium. And I've heard him speak. He is wonderful, dynamic, and I love the zoo, so I can't wait to hear his talk. So next, Todd Miller will introduce our speakers. And thank you.
Thank you, Helen, and good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Miller, the program co-scheduler, and it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers tonight. Maria Cohen became the executive director of the Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition in 2019, and she supports many programs that have a positive impact on Squirrel Hill. She holds an MBA in International Marketing and Finance from DePaul University, and has also earned LEED Green Certificate credential. She has been a Squirrel Hill resident for over 15 years and resides in the neighborhood with her husband Josh, a chiropractor, and her 2 teenage sons, Cole and Julian. And Ray Baum is the coalition secretary and a past president. And on that note, I'd like to welcome a couple of past presidents of the Urban Coalition, Marty Eisler and Rich Fader, who are with us tonight. And Ray has served on the boards and committees of many Squirrel Hill and citywide organizations, and including Friends of the Neil Log House, and also provides pro bono legal services to many nonprofit organizations in the city. And on a personal note, Ray and his children are products of the Pittsburgh Public Schools, and his 2 grandsons will be graduating from Alderdice this June. So in advance, congratulations to you and your family, Ray. And without further ado, I'll turn the floor over to Maria.
Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Todd. And I'd be remiss without saying that our current board president, Dahlia Belenkoff, is also here. And we're so thankful to have so many of our past presidents and those who know so much about the coalition to be here with us this evening. Ray, would you like to come up with me so that we can present together? Okay, well then I guess I'll be doing a lot of this, but we're really focused on the Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition and what we began in the 1970s. So Alex, could you go to the next slide, please? Oh, I can do it myself, I'm sorry. Okay, now. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what we'll be talking about this evening, the founding of the Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition shows mission and guiding principles, historic milestones and community partnerships, ongoing work to enhance Squirrel Hill's vitality, and SHUC's vision for the future and how we can all get involved. I am so happy to see so many familiar faces here and just appreciate you all. We have several Squirrel Hill treasures here also, and we're just also very thankful for our partnership with the Squirrel Hill Historical Society, including, as Helen mentioned, this fabulous calendar that I have sent to several of my family members that are outside of the city, and they're really enjoying all of the photos. I'm getting so many good comments. Oh, and we did have someone from London purchase it as well. So hopefully he'll be in good company. Okay, so I'll get to keep forgetting what I need to do. Okay, so the founding of the coalition. It started in the early 1970s, Squirrel Hill was experiencing kind of a challenging economic time. And there were economic headwinds, aging storefronts, limited reinvestment signaled a cooling of the local economy. There were rising vacancies, more empty storefronts, inconsistent food traffic, pressures from local retailers. And so in 1972, the Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition was founded to address the blight in the business district and to keep the local businesses and residents in Squirrel Hill. This seems to be, I think that we always need to have a focus on the business district and also keeping those here that we would like to keep all of our neighbors here and bring more in. So there's always going to be some type of focus on those type of areas, and we'll explain that later. But these are some of my favorites. I don't know if anyone remembers, well, this is my personal favorite, the Bagel Land. And then, does anyone remember that? And then we have Aiello's and Gourmet Deli, so.
Bagel Land was on mine. Absolutely.
I guess someone online is talking about it. I loved it. Formation of SHUC and the resulting improvements. So we actually, there were some business district changes, and some of those were that trees are going to be, by the way, a ongoing theme. But one of the things that happened is that they planted more trees on Forbes to have the shopkeepers maintain also the storefronts and their businesses better. And then by 1983, the business district was again prospering, even during a recession and under the ED, Seymour Wise and the Coalition Board. Prior to that, there was actually the first executive director, who was Richard Cohen. He did some exceptional work to get the coalition to that point. And even there's a memorial in the Fooside Park that is the Richard Cohen Memorial, so you can see that there. And then what had happened was that we were actually, as the coalition, in June 24th, 1983, gifted the old Whiteman School building. So council voted on that, and it was proposed to make it a center that would offer childcare to infants and senior citizens, and then health screenings, meeting spaces for community groups and organizations and other services. And they also got the merchants and residents involved by doing an event that was a 10% off shopping day to benefit the new center. And at that point, merchants were extremely involved in Squirrel Hill, and that was really important at that time to bring everyone together. So in bringing the community together, the Squirrel Hill Community Street Fair started in the late 1970s, and they had really fun themes like Fun and Frolic on Forbes. And then more economic development and prosperity was occurring, and there was a boost in local commerce and job creation, and some of the biggest improvement was an abundance of work helping to insulate the neighborhood during the 1980s recession. This is a photo of the Whiteman School building when the Community Service Center was created. Okay, so this is the evolution of the coalition. In the 1970s, when we were facing the blight, as I mentioned, Richard Cohen, the executive director of the newly formed Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition, created programs to focus on revitalization of the storefronts, better maintain streets and sidewalks, and they just really worked hard to get the business district as sound as possible. Then in the 1980s, that's when they added the Care and Health Center to the old, and were gifted the Whiteman School building. In the 1990s, affordable housing enters the portfolio with steady growth, including Somerset at Frick Park, which many of you may be familiar with, and I'll explain a little bit about how that happened later. But we have Zelda Curtis here, who is one of the people that was really focused on it, and maybe you could even say a few words if you'd like to at the end or now, but it sounds like maybe not, but that was a really exceptional gift to our neighborhood. And also, because of the focus on planting trees, it also very much increased our tree canopy as well. So some of the other things that happened in the 90s, in 1992, the Squirrel Hill Business and Professional Association was established as a 501c6 as a nonprofit, and this was really a direct result of, at the time, council member Bob O'Connor's Feet on the Street initiative. Of course, he later went on to become mayor. And then in the 2000s, in 2008, 2009, the tree committee formed. And Davies, this was as a result of Davies Tree Company being commissioned to determine which trees needed to be removed. And there were so many of them that it almost really didn't necessarily make as much sense what the plan had laid out. So the city adopted an ordinance that trees could not be removed without the owner giving permission, so that there were not too many removals. And then also, owners were able to request tree plantings. And then in the 2010s, the litter patrol was rolled into the SHUC umbrella to ensure clean streets and that everything was really cohesive. That, from what I understand, happened under Ray Baum's direction. And then also, the chamber was reinvigorated as Uncover Squirrel Hill with incredible efforts by, well, at the time, council member Corey O'Connor, now mayor. And I mean, he definitely has taken direction from his dad and really moved forward in a beautiful way with it, honoring his father. And then, of course, our recent past board president, Marty Eisler, who's here, they worked hard to reform the chamber and make it what it is today. Then the Lunar New Year event was also established in 2016. And unfortunately, we experienced something really very tragic on 10/27, the Tree of Life shooting, which forever changed the fabric of Squirrel Hill. And we had neighbors and leaders from all over the city supporting the victims and families of those affected by the tragedy. The 10/27 Healing Partnership came out of that, and we've demonstrated our resilience as a neighborhood. Then in 2020, we had the pandemic, and there was a focus on community health and safety. The pandemic brought new challenges, of course. We all know them, we all live them. It was a challenging time for everyone in every community. So what we did, we established some things that we felt would be fun to bring community together. So we did these really fun Zoom porch parties. And we had local merchants get involved in these. So what we would do is have, like, let's say, I Am Yoga create a yoga event. And then Games Unlimited created a games event. And we would do things that were themed like Bach, Beethoven, and brunch with mimosas. And then we would highlight all of the businesses that we could think of that where you could go out and get like goodies for brunch or something like that and have a fun porch party together. We also created a Kindness is Contagious campaign to highlight those neighbors that were doing really exceptionally kind work to bring everyone together. We also did things like made sure to continue the night markets, wine walks, and as many events as we possibly could in the safest way possible, because as I think most of us know, we faced an isolation epidemic that is still unfortunately going on today. So what we're doing to help counteract that is that we did look at a Blue Zones initiative, and unfortunately, due to just some things going on right now with grants and challenges there, we couldn't necessarily bring that together as a Blue Zone initiative. We found first what we need to do is to develop a new neighborhood plan, since the last one took place about 36 years ago and resulted in some incredible amenities for our neighborhood and our neighbors. So we are very fortunate to be able to also share that in partnership with the Church of the Redeemer, we will have a community garden space, which we already hosted a couple of events last year with the I Volunteer Group, that is the Friendship Circle, and the Branch and JCC Center for Loving Kindness. We're going to be doing much more with that garden and making it a space for the entire community, and that'll be happening next year, and we're really excited about it. Then also, SHUC earned RCO status, and that really means that we're a registered community organization who hosts development activities meetings about projects coming into the community to give our residents, institutions, businesses, and those affected by it a voice when we do have projects coming in. And then SHUC formed a fiduciary called the Friends of Neil Log House to rehab the Neil Log House, which is in Shenley Park. It is on the golf course, basically. And we have some remarkable board members here from the Neil Log House and supporters who have really helped us with that here. Specifically, the president of the Friends of Neil Log House, Tony Indavina, and Helen Wilson, who did extraordinary work. Marty Eisler also did extraordinary work. Carolyn Boyce put on a really cool fundraising event that was tied into Henry Kerner, and that helped significantly. Ray Baum was part of our legal team. I mean, and I know that there are others here who did exceptional work with that log house, and we're so thankful to have it. Our park rangers are giving tours. They're exceptional docents, and I am sure that we're going to have some upcoming kind of surrounding the 2050 year anniversary of the country. So stay tuned for those. Hopefully not. Yeah, that's pretty much most of what we had going on. Now, the 1990s master plan was something that was extremely significant to our neighborhood, and it really supported to do even much more than what I'm going to share here. This is just a synopsis. If you'd like to read the whole plan, it's right here. But some of the work that came out of that were, of course, business districts and improvements, because we always need to focus on our business district, making sure that it looks clean and pristine, which has been, it's always challenging to do. So we had the new Giant Eagle site and store expansion that came out of that. The Rite Aid building was designed to conform with the neighborhood aesthetics, and it was also the JCC building right next door was kind of the basis of design for that building. And Squirrel Hill's retail core, particularly Murray Avenue at that time, was not as attractive as it should have been. I know that we always have challenges with Murray, but we need consistently to update. But many of these storefronts have been poorly remodeled after the years. The result was a hodgepodge, which was, as they stated in the neighborhood plan, inappropriate as the center of such a community. And the district really needed improvements to the street, the sidewalks, and to create a more lively, attractive shopping environment. We had businesses that had been here for a long time that were family-run businesses like Bagel Land and Pola's and others that didn't have family members to continue the tradition, so those storefronts needed to be replaced. And then one of the most exceptional things that came out of the plan really was Somerset at Frick Park. And that development was, Mayor Tom Murphy, who had a three-term office, like he was a popular mayor, worked with the Urban Redevelopment Authority to begin the project in 1995. So the project really, I mean, it's been ongoing. I happen to live in Somerset, and when I first lived there, I was in a townhouse at the end, and now I'm in a home that's further out. There were even plans at one point to possibly add another section of the neighborhood over on the other side of kind of where, I guess you would say, now they're going to be they have a solar panel project going on for the URA, but that was potentially going to be another section of the neighborhood, and that didn't end up happening. But now we'll be getting solar panels, so, and also there'll be a little bit of an improvement to the park as well. And so it was purchased for $3.8 million, and a group of investors, developers, and builders named the Somerset Land Development Association was formed, and it was led by the Rubinoff Company, who still has certainly some control over the neighborhood now. There were several really key builders that were involved, lots of engineers. I mean, it was an old slag dump, so they really had to do some incredible work to make this an environmentally sound place to build. And then I'm also going to guess, and I'm sure you would know more about this, Zelda, but also that the ground wasn't as stable as it could have been in certain sections. And then also we have there could, you know, if there wasn't stability, be some landslide opportunities on some of the hills. So I'm sure that they worked very hard to figure out how to make a sound, safe neighborhood. It's so well designed. It has so many different options for different types of living. Like, for example, you could come in and live in a small townhouse. You can rent an apartment. You could also have a single family home for families. And then I'm hoping that as I age out of that, there are also these amazing flats that are available as well. Not enough, you know, for everyone who needs them, but we have them there, and thank goodness we do. So there were also, it's incredible the amenities that are offered at Somerset. We have a beautiful community swimming pool, a community center, but also lots of incredible green spaces. And by the way, it's anyone's to be there. This is not it's not a private neighborhood. You can come over and enjoy the green spaces as you would like. You can walk your dog. One of the best things about our neighborhood is that we have families from all over come for Halloween, and they feel safe there, and they love it. And by the way, we recognize people that are not necessarily from Somerset that come every year, and it's so wonderful to see all of those groups. So this is an explanation of the current Squirrel Hill North and South zoning. And there are a lot of changes that are needed for the master plan. I should have Ray jump in on this one.
I just wanted to throw these up here quickly because we did a master plan in 1990. It really had a major effect. I mean, developers for some reason at Brick Park, well, it would not have happened. There would have been a commercial development there, if anything. It would have been called for our master plan. Also, the apartments behind 6 Presbyterian Church. But now I'm just pointing out that if you look at, I think it's look at this is the one over here. Murray Avenue is all zoned LMC. It means you can't build more than 35 feet high, and it's really limited as to what you can put there. It's on a transportation corridor. It's underutilized. We only have abundant property in Squirrel Hill that's zoned for very high rises, maximum towers. People who want to move out of their houses or want to move into Squirrel Hill as newer homeowners have very few choices, very few opportunities. So we want to do a new master plan and see how we re-envision that and a lot of other things for help to keep Squirrel Hill environment and take advantage of the fact that we have this wonderful transportation corridor. And just one other thing, the Somerset Brick Park, it was a slag dump from 1920 to 1970. Then it just sat there, and I used to go with my mountain bicycle and my son and ride around there to see the animal sacrifices, the burned out stolen cars. What's there now is incredible. We're going to lose in the house and live in one of those old people flats. And it really is truly
It's
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but our next real big initiative, I think, is to collaborate with the community and come up with a new master plan and say, how do we want to use, Squirrel Hill's pretty well built out, but how can we better use the property that we do have?
Thank you, Ray. It truly is very important for our community to be able to have that type of plan. Look at what came out of the last one, and we can do exceptional work with this one as well, with community voice and support. So SHUC's mission and guiding principles. The Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition gives voice to the hopes and concerns of our residents, institutions, businesses, and visitors, and works to preserve, improve, and celebrate the quality of life in our vibrant urban Squirrel Hill neighborhood. So that's our mission, and we fulfill it as much as we possibly can every day. So one of the things that we look at is having a vibrant neighborhood and planning fun, well-attended events. Those include our night markets, our Lunar New Year, Day of the Dead, community resource fairs, Squirrel Hill National Night Out. We even host a variety of partnering events and also work with other communities to host. So we do something called the Holiday Mingle every year too, that brings all of our local schools together to embrace each other's traditions, and that would be in Greenfield, Hazelwood, and Squirrel Hill. And then we continuously focus on neighborhoods and neighborhood improvements, including gateway improvements, O'Connor's Corner, mural projects, adding more benches and areas for respite, beautification efforts, including our planters, holiday decor, and more. And the gateway improvements, most of them have happened through that plan. So some of them included some changes to our gateway that as you come into the neighborhood, that would mean that that's how we got the Squirrel Hill sign. And O'Connor's Corner is an exceptional place that's really right in front of the new Dumpling House. We were also able to secure funding for a mural by Allison Zapata. And I mean, we have several of our board members here who did exceptional work with that, including Marty Eisler and Rich Fader, and I believe, Ray, you were involved in it as well. And I mean, we really needed that because one of our board members' brothers drove into Squirrel Hill and saw what a mess it was and made comments, and thank you to him. So now we have some really incredible gateway improvements. Then we have advocacy, planning, and community safety. So we really champion responsible urban growth that preserves the character and livability by giving voice to the community in a public forum through things like the Department of City Planning, our CO program, our upcoming neighborhood plan, involvement in citywide planning, collaborations for safe streets, welcoming public spaces, and resilience. And actually that photo is of Corey, and I believe that's actually Molly, looking at all of the streets that we were gonna be able to, every year we host an annual litter patrol event. And so this is the cleanup. It's actually inspired by Earth Day. And then this is just local businesses and culture. So we promote a thriving Main Street and celebrate cultural diversity. We're strongly partnered with Uncover Squirrel Hill in order to do that. And we recently acquired a URA neighborhood grant in order to put in more benches and also planters. And I will say, Donnie did not make it easy on us for the benches. But we got them because Marty helped us. Marty and Rachel LeBron, one of our other board members, were able to create a map of everything. So worked in our favor, thank goodness for them. SHUC's missioning, I don't know why I went the wrong way, I'm sorry. So we also have a commitment to advocacy, stewardship, and collaboration. Would you like to talk about this? Okay. Yeah, so let me share a little bit about this. We advocate for safer streets and the built environment. A lot of that is done through our Bike Ped Committee. We also collaborate a lot with other neighborhoods on this. A lot of our work really relates to other neighborhoods from the standpoint of ensuring that we can be well connected. So we work with, for example, Greenfield Community Organization, Point Breeze, Hazelwood, and several others in order to do that. And then we collaborate with so many different groups in order to really make sure that we are able to have a strong Squirrel Hill. We also have our In a Nutshell monthly newsletter, the Squirrel Hill magazine, monthly board meetings hosted on the third Tuesday of every month in room 202. The only exceptions are July and December. And then we also, as we mentioned, host development activities, meetings, and have social media. If you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, you could do so over there, and also volunteer opportunities. Then we also have our magazine over there, and you can sign up on our website if you scroll all the way to the bottom. And we have an improvement for volunteers where you can really share where you want to be from a committee standpoint or volunteer standpoint. We listed some of the other things that we do from an economic standpoint. One thing that I do want to highlight that really came out of more looking at community events and what people would like to see. Day of the Dead is one of those, and it has been an exceptional, fun event for the last several years. Marty had a huge, she puts huge effort into that, and I love that event. So that's another one. This also lists some of our collaborations and partnerships that I won't go through all of them, but we have so many of them. We only have one staff member, that's me. And in order to get all the things done that we get done, we need partners and collaborators, and so many people work with us and support us. And we're doing things like the library helped us host a resource fair for our underserved and homeless population last October. We're doing financial literacy courses for our teens, older adults, and everyone else. We're going to have a program for that. And we work very directly with the local schools in order to create, we're invited in to do litter patrols, but also create other fun and volunteer experiences and much more. Okay, so engagement with businesses and residents. We of course host local types of asks and community engagement, but one of the things that we recently were awarded was a Forbes Fund grant. So we were able to host several community meetings to ask what our community wanted, and some of the things that came out of that and requests were the deer management program, which was already kind of in the works, but that was also headed by Marty. And there's a pilot program that with bow hunters, all of the meat, by the way, was pretty much repurposed and given to some of our food insecure neighbors, and then of course the hunters did get some for themselves. Don't worry about that. But then also the Day of the Dead celebration and a continuation of other fun events. Also, just the community wants more trees as well, and we were able to. Actually through the direction of our tree committee, including Jeremy Kazaz, Scott Blumen, and Marty, it's more of a partnership with Western PA Conservancy and our local forester. I believe it's a 5-phase project with, I'm gonna say about 56 trees. Marty, how many are there really?
275.
Okay, so a lot more than that, 265. Maybe that was phase one that I was talking about.
53 is phase one.
Okay, 53 is phase one. So it's going to be really an exceptional add to our tree canopy. And then we also just look for a responsive and inclusive community, and we do that through a lot of volunteer types of opportunities. And we have some environmental concerns. So one of the things we've done is partner with groups that are more environmental advocates, like the Mon Valley Water Project and FIPS and the county on the environmental toolkit. Okay, so here's some information about our ongoing work. So we do focus on a sustainable city, and we're looking at, as we've mentioned, developing a new Squirrel Hill neighborhood plan, and we would love for all of you to get involved in that, by the way, and give us your voice, or if you're able to help us in any other way, that's really helpful. But we also, this happens to be a photo of Whiteman Park. And after Whiteman Park was kind of revamped, including a really important PWSA project for stormwater management, an extension of the baseball field, and just beautification efforts. Actually, there's also a really beautiful, sculpture that is by Cohen and Allison Sabata. And we, as the coalition, focused on really making sure that the park was maintained, including raising funds to maintain the bathrooms and open them. So that, luckily, they put, there's money in the budget now for maintenance, but that was one of the things that we needed to do. And then, of course, there's so many ways to get involved, including, of course, this is a group of our litter patrollers. They're called the pickleballers. And so basically we offer a group and individual cleanups. We'll come out, we'll give the supplies. If you need us to be there, we're there. We also do a lot of other work with like Friendship Circle and I volunteer events. We do a lot with the branch with volunteer events. You could write in our magazine. You could do a variety of things with a lot of our committees, like Bike Head, Health Committee, also Built Environment, events. There's something really for everyone. And then we do a lot of work with our community connections and partners. A couple that I would like to highlight are Argument Kitchen, who really does good work to serve our underserved population, and also actually some of the homeless shelters. So if you're able to volunteer for any of the other organizations that we partner with, we definitely suggest that as well. And we're just really optimistic and focused on deepening our community trust, leveraging technology as we're able, pursuing innovative funding models, and basically we are just looking forward to a data-informed and community-led strategy that will guide SHUC's inclusive growth and enduring commitment to a thriving Squirrel Hill community. Here's our contact information, just in case you would like to be able to get involved, and then we'll take questions and answers. Oh, and Ray wanted to speak for another moment.
When I saw Maria's slideshow, I said, there's not much else to be said, but I couldn't control myself. I still volunteered to say add a few things. Because when I'm the second person in the room, I always think of something. And one of the things that really I think is important to point out, that all these things that have happened in Squirrel Hill, that we've been part of, we've just been part of, it's collaboration. We help facilitate. We don't own it for the most part. We're not the funders. We may help get some of the money, but most of it involves volunteers, involves other organizations, and the whole plethora of organizations that you saw listed up there on all these slides. We were formed because people were deathly afraid in 1972 that Squirrel Hill was going to be abandoned. The people were simply going to move to the suburbs, and there was going to be nothing but flight. And I think, Squirrel Hill has survived very nicely. We've been a part of that, the JCC, the Historical Society, and so many other organizations have been a huge part of that. Our city government has been a big partner in that. The gateway plan is something I really think we need to talk about. I mentioned the 1990 plan, Maria went over that. The gateway plan, when Whole Eyes burned down, Squirrel Hill Theater closed, Burton Hirsch closed, that whole area was a huge mess. And what do we do about it? So started a committee, Marty started a committee, of course, and got not just people, not just members of our organization, although we're open to anybody, but we got collaboration from all sorts of organizations to sit down and envision what would happen there. CMU was a crucial part of it. I'm trying to remember all the others, the city, state government, the state legislature. We met at Dan Frankel's office every month to plan this. We hired Rothschild Bueno. They put together a beautiful plan. We had CMU architecture students, other grad students come in and hold visioning sessions. We met at the Sheratora, which partnered with us so that we could get as many people from the immediate neighborhood in there. And it ended up with a declaration of blight. The Planning Commission actually declared the whole area from Forward Avenue to Moorfield, between Murray and Shady and Lower Forward, to be blighted so that we could get additional funding, government funding, and foundation funding to do something there. Then Action Housing came along, and we worked with them to build two wonderful buildings across Commons and Flats and Forward, which now house about 75 people who lower income, but who were working in Squirrel Hill for the most part, shopping in Squirrel Hill, living in Squirrel Hill, and our wonderful community members. And really, we've really improved that corner. Burton Hirsch, the developer, looked at that and failed to be able to develop it. We're still hoping somebody will take that over. That and the Colonial Cleaners and the rest of Lower Forward Avenue. Part of our next plan has to be trying to figure out how to get that either rezoned or otherwise planned and dealt with. But it also resulted in the Welcome to Squirrel Hill sign, the post office park reconstruction was part of the visioning there. That whole post office park was a mess. O'Connor's Park corner, which Maria mentioned, that whole, we'll have videos there. It's a beautiful area to sit in. Marty worked the tail off to get that one done. The new street lights on Murray Avenue, the marijuana dispensary, whether you consider it valuable or not, that was a property that's sat empty for years and years. It's the blighting property sitting there at the corner of Beechwood and Forward. Now our bicycle pedestrian committee, or the pedestrian bicycle committee, is worked with PennDOT, and we're pretty sure that we're going to get a bicycle path starting at Forward Avenue, connecting with the Eliza Furnace Trail down by past Bay Street. It's a huge accomplishment. Plus the reconstruction of Lower Forward Avenue to make it safer and make it much more attractive, and hopefully attract better development than what's there now, which is the auto store and another vacant building. We hope to get lighting on the Verizon building. We're still hoping to see that building repurposed because it sits empty now. It's being used only for equipment. Hazel and Jackson used to live there, but they don't live there anymore. And at any rate, the couple other things. The 2009 we acquired Squirrel Hill magazine. We've been publishing that for free and distributing to everybody in 15217, basically, Squirrel Hill, since 2009. And we've had the treasure dinner every year, which is honoring our key members of the organization. In 2012, we had the Cora. Well, you get.
Okay. So, for example, Ann Belzer and Caroline Boyser there's 2 from last year. It's exceptional who our treasurers are, so just wanted to share.
Yeah, in 2012, we had the Court of Fellows Studies for Health, which was very interesting. But one of the things that came from that was a stormwater study, where we had an intern go to every business along Mary Avenue and Forbes Avenue and find out that every one of them was suffering from sewage backups whenever there was a significant storm. That was a huge problem. It's still a huge problem, although the city has done a lot to improve the infrastructure. There's still so much more that needs to be done so that businesses can use their basements. We also help with the Hill Academy expansion. Lunar New Year and the night market, we can't claim credit for this. We helped facilitate. But those were all collaborative efforts, everything we do. So I guess what I really want to come down to is that what we want is to work with anybody that wants to work with us. Everybody's welcome. We're looking for board members. We're especially looking for committee members. Our key committees are litter patrol, which really does go around cleaning up the streets. Our Parks and Trees Committee, because we're now getting 500 and some new trees along Beechwood Boulevard, based on a grant that was written by 2, one board member and 1 committee member. One of those committee members is this somebody I happened to see at Thanksgiving one year, and he said, I like what the coalition's doing. I said, good, you can get involved. And he wrote this grant, and he's brought so much other, and Scott Blumen has brought so much other skills to the coalition. That's what we need. We need more and more people to get involved. The rest, I'm not going to get into. I could go on all night, but I think you get the idea. We're doing everything we can, but we can do so much more if more people join us.
Yes.
What's the timing on the development of the new master plan?
Well, we are waiting to hear from the state about a grant that we put in. That's I guess it would be the Main Street Matters Neighborhood Planning Grant. And with everything that's happened with the state budget, it's been delayed. So our plan is to start it really this year. And I would say that by 2027, 2028, have it completely finished so that we can really start our work. We're hoping for as soon as possible, Todd. Any other questions? Yes, Tony? Oh.
I would just like to make a few comments. Number one, going back to the formation of Friends of Neil Log House, it was the historical society who stumbled on forgotten treasure up in Shenley Park, but we truly didn't know where to go from there until we got together with our friends from SHUC, because not only do they have the business model, but they have the expertise. They truly are a group of high achievers, over-the-top achievers, and if it weren't for the efforts of 3 individuals from here who were part of the core group, we would not have gotten where we were. The second thing I'd like to say is Helen and I do attend most of the board meetings every month. And it's truly been a wonderful experience for me to see how they make everything that you've seen up there work by a very large board, each of whom has responsibilities, is expected to have responsibilities in these task-oriented committees. So you have a wonderful model that you build upon over the years. You truly are a Squirrel Hill treasure yourself.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate all the behind-the-scenes look at everything. And I'm so thankful to work with Tony and Helen, especially on the Neil Log House and all the other exceptional work. They come to the holiday mingle. Helen gives the history of several communities. And Anne, your next question.
Well, I'm wondering, what year, I've been to visit, what year was SHUC founded?
1972.
Did we have a 50th?
Yep.
I totally missed that. really should let us know that we could have done a Marty Eisler drinking game through this.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Right, because Marty's been mentioned so many times that we all be just destroyed.
You can watch the Zoom again online when we post it, and we do the drinking game, we'll all do it together.
Oh my gosh, such a good idea. That's great announcement. We can give someone grape juice if they don't drink. Yes. Yes, Tony? Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes. Do you have anybody to replace White?
That's a good question. There is something in the works right now. It's being shared as kind of a, do you want to share this, Ray? I have an idea, but I think you'll be more articulate.
Nobody knows absolutely for sure, but the people that own McKnight properties, McKnight Partners, bought the lease, and their proposal is to put a kosher market in there, primarily a kosher deli. They have the lease. They said they can get it done. They called me to tell me they were doing it. Now I'm waiting to see if it actually happens. They are also talking about buying the share of Torah for Chabad. So that's another thing that's a possibility. That's the other thing that, it's not like they called me and told me that's confidential. They've been saying that to the Pittsburgh Business Times as well. And this really is weird listening to yourself. That's why artists always put.
Yeah, that's why I had a little bit of trouble, and I think Helen did too. I was like, wow.
Yeah, you have to wear earphones to stand up here. So,
And they're touting it as almost like a Whole Foods of kosher marts, where there'll be like a little bit of an area to actually also like be there to eat and do some things like that. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what's happening with the Jefferson apartment site?
That's a good question. We did do a lot of work to help our displaced neighbors, and we got them things, so many different things. In fact, Kids Plus Pediatrics, literally, we partnered together to be able to kind of almost have a community store where a lot of our neighbors donated items, and we're able to get many gift cards and clothing, and also blankets, and lots of how will I describe it? But just like toiletries and things like that to our community members. As for what's going to happen, I know that it's been cleared, but I don't know what will happen with it.
we're going to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
See what his plans are. You got the insurance money. But I mean, as happened with the pandemic, Maria just jumped in there and started coordinating things. But she found the Red Cross and what's the name of the kitchen again?
Oh, our Giving Kitchen.
Our Giving Kitchen. I mean, the number of people that came, and organizations that came forward. Maria still had a lot to do, but it really was an amazing community effort. The way Squirrel Hill responded, and the way the greater community responded to that fire.
It was exceptional, I have to say. I mean, we're really fortunate to have a very resilient, giving community, and that's how that all gets done. Any other questions?
Okay. It's 8:31. Program's over.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate all of you.
Well, thank you, Maria and Ray, for a most informative presentation. Thank you all for being here tonight. Our next program, as Helen mentioned at the top of the evening, going to be Tuesday, March 10th, and Dr. Jeremy Goodman, the director of the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium, will talk about One Wild Place, the fascinating history of the Pittsburgh Zoo, and also the zoo's future plans. So thank you again for being here, and travel safely home, and hope to see you on March 10th.